Welcome to Safari India's exclusive interview with Mr. Madan Prasad Bezbaruah, Secretary General, Hotel Association of India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to talk to you.
My first question to you is, the hotel industry has bounded back in the last 2 years. What does the forecast look like over the next few quarters?
The industry feeling is that the next few quarters are going to be same or better. It's not likely to recede.
Do you see the current expansion spree of major hotels panning out to a newer or a less explored tourist destination?
There is a trend now. There is an inclination to go beyond the metros, and that is what members of the Hotel Association of India have been trying to, because that is the future. If you look at what is going to happen, if you go to the whole gamut of tourism development, you will find that we have to be sustainable. And that sustainability also requires that there must be some control on the carrying capacity. Now, most of the metro cities attractions have perhaps been under pressure for carrying capacity. Now, we need to expand our destinations to nature and eco-friendly destinations, and therefore we have to go beyond the metro cities. That is, I believe, that is the right trend. Otherwise, Indian tourism will have a serious problem of demand and supply mismatch.
So, what are the major issues impacting the hotel industry in terms of taxation, like GST, etc.?
Well, you see, so far when we go to the budget discussions, our industry points out a large number. Let me say that on the policy issues, we are not debating too much. There are 2 or 3 policy issues which we are very keen on. One is that tourism and hospitality, if you consider it to be the growth parameter, as the Prime Minister has been saying, provide it with the incentives or the facilities that you provide to industry as such. Like, industry gets certain benefits so far as, certain facilities on power tariff, in taxation, depreciation, etc., which we have been asking that we should be at par with infrastructure industry, we should be at par with industry as such. The problem with that, there are 2 problems. Even before we ask, I can tell you, the 2 problems are like this, that so far as industry facilities are concerned, most of those facilities are controlled by the states. It is not under Government of India as such. So there is a huge disharmony in the facilities that the industry enjoys in different states. And our demand has been that accept tourism as an inclusive growth input, and do whatever the government can do for creation of employment and income in the wide areas of the country by providing it the facilities that is provided to other industries and infrastructure. That is our main demand so far as we are concerned. There are small things like, we have been asking for GST should be, if we have to be competitive with the world, so our GST rates, we have been saying that should be rationalized at 12% instead of 18% at this moment. We understand GST is a major component of the revenue of the government, and we are always collaborating with the government on constructive way. But we believe that even if you reduce it to 12, the total income that will be coming because of larger growth of the industry may be far more than what you get at 18%.
So, what is the top agenda of Hotel Association of India?
You see, Hotel Association of India, we have been very particular to say that we are not an agency just to make demands or say that all the demands making association. Our main motto is that it should be a collaborative, constructive public-private participation to create. We have been asking the government that you have a systematic way of public-private participation way. So like some platform where we can meet, where you can discuss, and where you can contribute, and you can take part in the policy issues as well. So our main objective of the Hotel Association is to focus on the problems of the industry, bring them to the notice of the government. Then we also encourage our members on what is happening in the industry today. For example, sustainability. Sustainability concept has changed so much that we are talking about circular economy today. Now, all our members are enthused with all these ideas. We take part in spreading this awareness about these things. And Hotel Association also has a mouthpiece magazine through which we try to collaborate with the government and create awareness about hospitality and tourism around the country.
Air pollution is leading to an annual loss of $1.7 billion for the Indian tourism industry. As inbound tourists shorten their stay, it's a study done by the World Bank. Does that worry you? And are there any solutions for this that you would like government or industry to take?
Well, that report worries me a lot. I have not seen the full report. I have seen only press reports. But the World Bank must have done a good study about how they have come to that figure. We had before 2000, before the COVID, around $30 billion of foreign exchange earnings. And notionally, if the World Bank is saying that out of that 1.2 billion, 1.7 billion, as you say, was lost, that's a very, very serious concern for everyone. But a problem with air pollution is that it is part of the total issue of climate change and environment. Now, tourism depends entirely on clean climate and environment, and similarly, tourism also can contribute to that. Hotel industry has been very proactive about various steps taken on that regard. But so far as pollution is concerned, I'm not saying that there are small things which hotel industry can do, but then overall pollution issue is a much larger issue. And that hotel industry itself do not have a great role to play.
Do you see any pollution linked to the fact that inbound tourism has not yet reached to its pre-COVID level? In fact, compared to August 2019, tourist arrivals were down nearly 20% as in August 2023. What are your views on this, sir?
Yes. Globally, if you look at the World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, they have been surveying it very closely from the very beginning, and they have been always saying that the tourism will come back to 2019 only by around end of 2024. And they are still going by that prediction. But the latest report is that about 95% of 2019 has come back. But it has not happened in case of India. It has not happened in case of Asia Pacific. The growth has been largely short trips. Say, for example, Europe is just like one country compared to Asia Pacific, a huge area here. So I think there are problems of geopolitical developments, which is a major issue so far as tourist traveling long distance is concerned. And people in our main markets, still they have some worries about health and safety standards being followed, and the possibility of recurring COVID, because some reports from Singapore and also that new trends were still coming up. So these are factors, I think, which have affected. And there has been a problem with air traffic capacity as well. Europe had passed through serious manpower problems in air traffic management. Those are not yet completely over. So these are small issues which have affected. But I think what we did was a G20 was a good publicity for us. We hope that if we can tag on to that advantage of G20 and create more awareness and publicity about India, perhaps this in 2024, this is going to be back to normal.
Back to pre-COVID levels.
Yes.
Absolutely, sir. So fall in inbound arrivals and rise in outbound travelers. How do you explain this equation? Is it good for the Indian tourism and our economy?
Now let me not make a value judgment about good or bad, but this is something I can tell you, Jarita, that this is logical. It's very logical that it happens, and sometimes you should be happy about it. Why I say that is that that shows that a large number of our population has the capacity to travel. The number is growing, which is a good thing. Way back, I had done a survey for outbound tourism from India for UNWTO. And I found that it has always been, outbound has always been more than inbound tourism so far as India is concerned, primarily because we have a very strong and rising middle class. And that middle class in dollar income has, India has at one point of time more millionaires than USA has new millionaires. That these developments are bound to show in outbound tourism. Not that these people are not traveling inside. If you look at domestic tourism, which has come up to, before COVID, it came to about 2,000 million visits. And it is all coming back to the same number, and it will go beyond. And our report we had prepared says that the domestic tourism can go perhaps to 1.5 billion by 2047. At that magnitude, outbound tourism is a factor of India's economic strength, growing GDP, growing disposable income. And we lose a little bit of foreign exchange, yes, but our objective should be to get more inbound tourism and foreign exchange. Happily, we had we are not in a very serious foreign exchange situation like we were in 1990. Earlier, tourism was a major source of foreign exchange earning. That's why everything depended on foreign tourists coming. Not so any longer. Not that it is not important, it's very important, but not the main source.
Not the main source now. So inbound tourism is yet to hit the pre-COVID levels. And on the other hand, Indian tourists may spend a lot, but tend to be miserly in India. In this backdrop, do you see the expansion spree by hotels an overreaction? And sir, are the World Cup tourist arrival numbers being misread as an overall boom in the industry?
No, you have made quite a few statements that
we can divide it and we can go forward, sir.
So far as Indian tourists being majorly spending inside, I don't know. Indian tourists have a reputation of being a high spender outside because of shopping and all, I think. But shopping also nowadays has become less important than it used to be 20 years back. But that's not a that's not a reason for hotel industry not to expand. Hotel industry's future is in expansion, and its expansion has to be in smaller destinations, less than you know mm, uh, 10 million population, etc. So, and also they have a small. They go to budget hotels, and more and more, branded hotels, like even hotel, the Taj Group, Indian Hotel Corporation, even Oberoi to some extent, some other hotels, they have now started managing properties to expand. So new ways of management of hotels have come up. You keep the quality, you keep the brand, but you take over properties which are already there instead of constructing.
This is the advice that you would like to give to the hotel chains, or is there any other advice that you would like to give to the hotel chains in terms of expansion and going ahead?
Well, the hotels have a very important role to play because hotels are going to be the growth centers. It's the supply side of the economy has to be seen, because the supply links in the wherever a hotel comes up, the whole economy there transforms, because they have to get the supplies. Now hotels are now attuned to looking into the local industry, local cuisine, local employment, and all those things. So I would strongly be advising the hotel industry always. I have been in our magazines, etc., that the hotels should look upon them as a growth center. The hotels are also symbols of what we are trying to do now, is that sustainable tourism, regenerative tourism, like reuse of things, less use of plastics, and all those things. So they can take a role in the spurring the community into those areas. I see the hotels playing in the outlying areas. Good management of hotels can play a very good role.
Right, sir. So, like we discussed right now also, and earlier also, you've talked about ecotourism as being the next big thing for the hospitality industry. How do you think India can exploit this opportunity to the utmost?
Well, ecotourism is a part of the total concept of sustainable tourism. We must not forget that ecotourism, adventure tourism, all those are only parts of the whole objective. And in that objective, maintaining the ecosystem is the primary importance. Now, you cannot have ecotourism on one sense, and for sake of ecotourism to cut out forest in some areas, that will be contradictory. So ecotourism should be such that it should encourage growth of the ecosystem as itself. Not only the tourists should enjoy and the tourists should come, but that should lead to more. For example, if they come to a forest area, they should lead to more forest regeneration by new ways, instead of cutting forests to make hotels. These type of things, convergence and coordination is very important. And since we have such a large number of places where this can come, the government of India have an ecotourism policy also, and how it can be developed. My feeling always has been that we have to spread it out as much as possible, and for that what we will need is we need communication. The communication is the first thing that will open up new ecotourism areas. Secondly, we must have very good, strong management system. Management in the sense that local community should be entrusted. We must see that there is no over-tourism in the name of ecotourism itself. And then, of course, the use of all those wastages, plastics, pollutions, water use, and use of solar energy, all those things come in.
Okay, sir. So policies can't alone drive the hospitality industry. It needs a force of skilled ground level professionals. What is your prescription to address the age old problem of lack of skilled manpower?
Well, this is a very serious problem that the industry is facing and likely to face in future also. There are two ways of looking at it. Firstly, the professionalism has completely changed in the sense that what we talk today, and I had written in my Engage magazine also, that future, we say, is not what it used to be. Future has changed completely. What you think today is no longer valid tomorrow. The fast change of technological change have made made it very essential that the professionals should be on a continuous training mode. And as you know, tourism, we call it an experience economy. It's a question of experience. And creating experience, you need the professionalism. And for that, it is being called a service. Tourism is an industry of, market of one. Each tourist has his own preferences and you have to service that. That amount of professionalism requires very great expansion of the facilities for training and for continuous training, in-house training in the hotels and the restaurants themselves. Way back in 1997, we had started a program called Training of Trainers. Now, I think that was a good concept. We must start in the sense that we got the hospitality industry committed, that each hospital or hotel will provide one person from their organization who would be trained in a special organization for very basic concepts. And he will go back and train his people who are not already trained. Because there is so much of dirt that you have to take non-trained people also. Companies like Accor and all the biggest company in hotel in the world, they have started recruiting completely raw people because they don't get professionals, trained ones, but they're saying that we'll train them. So I think in-house training, training of trainers, expanding the training facilities, these are very, very important for future.
Sir, lastly, what are the 5 boosts that you would want for the hospitality sector in the next budget?
As I have already mentioned a few things. See, one thing, budget is a fiscal exercise. It takes care of what is going to be the revenue, what is going to be our expenditure. Basically, cannot expect too much of policy announcement. Sometimes they do. But what we want the budget to do, as I said, to make tourism and hospitality function as a pillar of development and enable that by providing all the facilities that I have mentioned, like infrastructure, industry. Then also remove the problems to doing business. The industry keeps on saying that there are 60, 70 approvals required for investment, etc. So now ease of doing business needs to be looked into carefully and create incentives for, and also not in the budget perhaps, but I would suggest that we need to look at the possibilities of how to link the organization. So, for example, we are talking about the private sector National Tourism Board. Now, National Tourism Board will be a very good concept for development of tourism in the country, which will be accountable, which will be professional, and they can take steps there. Otherwise, I cannot think of too many, government have been talking about very important organizational changes like convergence of the different ministries. If you look at tourism, all that tourism does is related to some other ministry, either civil aviation, home ministry, external affairs. Tourism ministry is a catalyst. So that convergence is very, very important. Well, I would also similarly say that that service industries export thing is something which should be revived, and the GST should be looked into to make it incentive oriented and at the same time income generating. Well, that I suppose should be some of the things, expectations from the.
Absolutely, sir. So thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us today and giving us the view of how the hotel industry can move forward and how what government can do to make it even more impactful for future.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
Stay tuned for more such enriching conversations with Safari India. Thank you.